What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and today we're going to take a look at Hwoarang, who's actually quite nuts, guys. This is a really crazy character. I am liking him. At first, when I started playing with him, I wasn't really that impressed with him because it took me a little bit to get used to his play style. And this is something that I really like about him and Alyssa, is that, after you play them a while, you really tend to appreciate, what Netmarble has done for these characters, how unique they have made them. But Hwoarang has an insane leadership, guys, for the Tekken fighters, increasing their attack by 65%. Just nuts. The 30% PG rate, increased damage on 18% on critical hit. This is really, really important, especially for a set like the Tekken set, which is going to increase your critical rate. Therefore, you'll be doing this way more often because you're going to be doing more critical hits. The decreased burn damage is good. The immune to stun, freeze, petrify, and fear is amazing for PvP. Interfury state for 7 seconds upon using the active skill. Deals physical damage equal to 200% of attack to the target every time its skill lands, which means a lot more damage. And then decreases damage received by 70% when attacked by targets with 30% HP or higher, giving him some decent survivability. And then immune to damage for 4 seconds when attacked by enemies with super armor or hyper armor. Now, this is really good for PvP, but it's not really the greatest thing for like guild raid. He can still take a lot of damage in guild raid, but if played properly, you don't really have to worry too much about him dying. And then increase attack speed by 10% for 7 seconds when using active skills is really, really important for this character, because whenever you play Hwoarang, you'll find that you're going to be using 2 skills for the most part, his first and second skill. His third skill, all it does is switch his stance, just like Alyssa. So you're just going to be spamming the first and second skill over and over and over. And this passive is really insane for this character because he does a lot of hits. And if he's doing a lot of critical hits, that critical damage is just going to make all the more difference for the amount of power that he's actually going to deal out. And then to deal physical damage equal to 120% of attack when a critical hit lands. Again, guys, the more critical rate you have, the better, because the more critical hits he's going to do. This is an A1 character, and you might be surprised by how much damage this guy can actually do. Now, his first skill does have hyper armor, and just like I mentioned in Alyssa's video yesterday, you have to be careful with these kinds of characters because once you switch his stance, that hyper armor is gone. Only whenever you're using Skyrocket will you have that hyper armor. So do always remember that, right? But whenever you do it, you do have the hyper armor. You do have the 7% chance to remove super armor or hyper armor from all targets, which is nice. You have the increased penetration. You have the increased target damage received for 6 seconds, which is nice. And then, of course, you had the increased attack by 30% for 3 seconds. And then decreased Falcon Dice Kick cooldown by 3.5 seconds when used. And also the PvP exclusive, disable all enemies' active skills for 3 seconds. Insane for PvP, really wonderful for that. And then when you change the stance, then his first skill gives him increased attack by 38% and increased critical rate by 30%. This is just insane for this character. And then he does have the PvP exclusive, remove target shield or damage immunity upon landing a hit. Now, something about Hwoarang that I've noticed is, you got a grab skill on this first skill, whereas whenever the stance is in the previous, these are both strikes. So, depending on the stones you put on this character, it might depend on, what is the best rotation to use. Now, the rotation that I'm going to be doing, and what I found so far, guys, with the 3 Tekken stones, or with the first Tekken stone that they give you, at least for Hwoarang, is that if you spam his first and second skill while the meter is broken in guild raid, you'll do more damage. From the testing that I've done so far, you'll do more damage. Now, this might change. This might be a little bit different whenever he's leveled up a little bit more, has different stones. Maybe if you put like a strike stone on him, right? If you put strike stones, then obviously this would be better. But maybe like whenever you switch stance, then you'd have a grab and strike. So really, I think it still would be better maybe like with strike stones instead, because you'd actually be able to spam those 2 skills using strike stones. But regardless, guys, he's just nuts, right? And then he has to increase target damage received by 15% for 10 seconds whenever he does his 3 PG. This is really, really awesome because it's going to increase his damage even more so. And he does have max capsules. It's not a whole lot, right? And his core is pretty interesting, right? He's got concentrate, where Falcon Dice Kick cooldown decreases by 100% for 3 seconds upon use. I don't really know how useful this is going to be, especially when you have certain card sets in the game that can actually increase your attack speed, decrease your skill cooldown, so where you can spam your skills for 13 seconds instead of 3 seconds, right? Concentrate really isn't as valuable anymore unless you don't have any of those card sets that can do that, right? Then he does have Shred, which increased physical damage received all enemies for 35%. for 15 seconds upon use, right? Honestly, I don't really think character players are really going to be using either one of these because once you use Shred, you're not going to be able to use your Awakened skill, right? And then you're going to be switching to your other characters. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, from what we've seen so far, it just really hasn't made a huge difference unless this is on some kind of character that is a support. And I really don't think you're going to use Hwoarang as a support. His damage is too good. I think you're just going to use him as a damage dealer. And I do have 10 points, guys, but his cores are not unlocked at all. We have no attack. We have no nothing on his cores whatsoever. And for the card set, we are going to be using Akane. Now, I'm actually going to show you guys two different runs. I'm going to show you a run using the Akane set, right? A completely free-to-play setup, because I know some people, they don't like it whenever you use certain card sets. They feel like, oh, that's not free-to-play. You're not really showing the true potential of the character as far as free-to-play are concerned. So I'll show you both. I'll show you the kind of damage he does at A1 with this set right here, and then also with the Tekken set. That's right. That Tekken set, guys, seriously, just like what it was with Nina, it is ridiculous on this character. It is crazy, crazy strong on him. If I can find the damn set, like this set is nuts on this character. It is crazy because, you get the critical rate buff, you get the, all the five bars of PG are going to be gained. You get the extra critical damage, guys. You get the increased Tekken Fighter attack, the deal additional damage to 250% attack. It's just a nutty set for this guy, right? And if you look at my CP, guys, you look at my attack, it's at 55,500. We have 60,000 CP. And then when I slap on that Tekken set, right? Let's see if I can find it really quick here. When I slap this set on him, nice. Right, now look at that. We just jumped up to 98,000 CP. But the run that you guys are going to see, I actually was using, the other run was, I was using the option card. This option card right here that we actually get from the Devil Gen boss. And this is a pretty nutty option card because it increases combat power by 15,000, decreases skill cooldown, and increases attack for Tekken fighters whenever you let a critical hit by 20% for 7 seconds. It's a nutty card. So that's going to be equipped as well. We'll go ahead and slap it on them. So we're going to, in the run that you're going to see with the Tekken set, guys, we're going to have 113,000 CP, and our attack is actually less than what it is with the Akane set. But yet, we're going to do way more damage because we have more critical rate, we have more critical damage. He's going to be hitting a lot harder, a lot more often, and it's just going to be insanity, my friends. And then we have his affinity at level 10. So something that's really nice, guys, is that, I mentioned in yesterday's video that Alyssa's probably going to be more of a support. And definitely against Omega, that is definitely the case. Like, whenever you set this team up, you use Hwoarang's leadership, and you have her on the side, you can do pretty awesome just fluctuating back and forth between these two characters, guys. You can do insanely well, right? I'm going to be using the Fest version of Nina for the decreased skill cooldown and the increased attack for these runs that you guys are going to watch. So I'll bring up the run for you guys right now. We'll just talk a bit of it. Now, I'm probably going to skip a little bit of this, guys. We're not going to watch all of this because it would be way too long because these are two full guild raid runs, but this is with the Akane set. I'm just going to let it go for about 1 minute to show you guys the damage. Now, whenever you're playing with these characters, guys, you really want to go 1, 2, 3. The 3 is going to switch their stance and do 1, 2. You do that for Alyssa so you can apply both dots. You do it for Hwoarang so that way you can do more damage, okay? And what you always need to remember is after you do, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, whenever you do the stance again, you'll have your hyper armor available. And you need to always have in the back of your mind when you're playing with both these characters to always have your hyper armor available whenever you're switching in to go against Rugal. That way, they don't get interrupted by his attacks. That is the trick to playing with these characters. And like right there, guys, I wasn't thinking, and I didn't have Alyssa's hyper armor up available whenever I did that, right? So I was getting interrupted. You always need to remember that, right? So, I mean, literally, like with Alyssa, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's literally what you're trying to do, okay? And then, of course, do your 3PG immediately while both dots are applied so you can try to break that meter down, all right? And this is how I play them. Now, maybe if you switch your stances while you're doing this, it'll be a little bit better. But like I said, guys, in my testing that I've done so far, whenever you switch your stance, you go into Southpaw, then he just seems to do more damage when you're spamming your skills. He just seems to do more damage. And then right before I do my 3PG with Hwoarang, I actually, switch my stance back. That way I have my hyper armor available whenever I switch my character in, and then just do my 3PG. Right before my 3PG, I always try to make sure that my hyper armor will be available, right? And you really need to do the same thing with Alyssa. Now, like right here, guys, I kind of screwed up with Alyssa a little bit there because I didn't have both my dots available. We lost a little bit of damage because of that, right? So I could have done a little bit more damage, right? Okay. Yeah, I mean he is so fun, guys. Like when you watch him kicks, and seriously, there's another card set. I'll do another video about this, but there's another card set when you put on him. It is so wild and so fun to watch him. And so there you go, guys. Right? I mean, we're at 500 million, right? You need 1.25 billion to do one key. This is an A1 character. A1, and I haven't leveled up any of his cores. I haven't leveled up his tech, nothing like that. And this is with a completely free-to-play card set that's always available in the game. No option cards, which the game has given us for free, especially if you can do that Devil Gem boss, that you could put on him to actually increase his attack even more, right? Even if you're using Transcendent cards, you could do even more, right? I mean, it's really wild. So I'm just going to kind of scream through here, guys, and we're just going to go all the way to the end, right? And you can see the total damage that we did in one full run, okay? So we did 1 billion. That is a damn good score, considering that this is an A1 character. That is a very, very good score. Now, let me show you guys a run where we actually use the Tekken set, along with that option card that I previously showed you, and you're going to see a whole new can of worms. This is pretty ridiculous when you watch this, guys. Same play style, I'm doing the exact same things, right? Again, guys, whenever you start with Hwoarang, you want to do his 1, 2, switch to Alyssa, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, go into her 3PG, right? And then after you do her 3PG, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, do a few attacks, switch to Hwoarang, and then do 1, 2, hopefully the Rugal's meter will break, and then switch your stance and start spamming your skills with Hwoarang. And then right before you do your 3PG with him, make sure that you switch your stance again so you'll have your hyper armor available, and then do your 3PG. And as long as you follow that pattern, guys, I know it sounds confusing, but as long as you follow that pattern, you're going to perform really, really well with these two characters. They're going to do insanely well, guys. Really. Just nutto, man. Just nutto. And like when I first started playing with these characters, I honestly, I really wasn't feeling it. I really wasn't, getting into them that much. Now, I love the characters, but I just wasn't into their playstyle that much. But when you play with them a while, right, and when you practice with these characters, they really grow on you. You really tend to start, like I said earlier, you really tend to start really appreciating what Netmarble has done for these characters. Like they made them very unique and different. I mean, I've said it once, and I'll say it again. When it comes to the fighters in Kofas, Netmarble does a very, very good job because they pay so much attention to the detail of these characters, right? Whether it's their aesthetics or whether it's their skills, the way they play, they really, really, it's important for them to represent these characters as best as possible. And that is something that, I totally respect. I just think it's so awesome, right? Like, I've never had a complaint about our fighters, right? And you guys can see the damage that we've done. We've done almost 600 million already with the Tekken set. And it's going to be even more of a stark difference as the fight goes on, especially at the end, right? At the very end of this fight, you're going to see a big difference between 1 billion and what he's actually going to get at Hey1 using the Tekken set, right? It's pretty wild, my friends. I mean, so we're just about there. Okay, so this is pretty much, right, 1 minute flat, right? 632 million compared to 500 million. 632 million, right? That is a lot, guys. I mean, that's really good for a 1 minute A1 character. That's pretty crazy, okay? But if you go all the way to the end, there's no need for us to watch. It's just going to be the same thing over and over again, as cool as it is. But you guys already seen some hints there about how much damage he's doing, right? We're just going to let it play out here. Now look at this, right? You just saw that it was like 1.5 billion, almost 1.6 billion. 1.6 billion. Look at that. right? And we could have done a little bit more. I could probably get 1.7, maybe even 1.8 billion on a really good run with an A1 character. That is insane. So, I mean, and so the Tekken set, guys, I mean, one, this just shows how powerful that set is on this character, but it also shows how powerful this A1 character is. I mean, I really wish my luck would have been better in that banner because, man, he is so cool. He's such an awesome character. So fun to play. Man, I love him to death. I mean, really, just crazy. Like both these characters, like Alyssa, both of them have grown on me so much because of their unique play style. They're just really, really fun, really, really amazing to play. And I will be doing another video, guys, showing another card set on this character that is just insane, just crazy. Is it going to be better than Tekken set? I don't know about all that. I'm going to have to do a little testing. But, guys, Hwoarang is freaking insane. He is an amazing character, maybe probably the strongest character in the game, but I really don't know because I don't have him at A5, I don't have him at A3. I really can't compare him to other characters that we previously had in the game, but he's bonkers, guys. He is a damn strong character. So let me know what you think about Hwoarang, and I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. TD+7 time. The link is in the description below, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See you, everybody.